What's happening, guys? It's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and this is our review of the Coolpad Mega. Now this one comes with a 5.5 inch 720p HD display, 2.5D curved glass on top, and you have Android Marshmallow running on the device. I'll get to the rest of the specs as we go along. Let's talk about build. On the right, you'll find the power lock and unlock button and the dual SIM card slot. Now this is a hybrid SIM card slot here, so you can either expand memory or use two separate SIM cards. On the left, you have the volume rocker. The build on the device is really sturdy. The volume rocker also gives decent response. At the bottom of the phone, you'll find the micro USB port as well as the primary microphone of the device. Now at the top, you'll find the 3.5mm audio jack. Now this phone runs on the 1 GHz quad-core MediaTek MT6735P processor, Cortex A53 cores. You have an 8MP rear camera, noise cancellation mic, and you have an 8MP front-facing camera as well, and you can see the speaker at the back. It's flush with the back panel and therefore it doesn't sound that great. Now just talking about the sensors, you have an accelerometer, proximity sensor, light sensor, and a magnetic field sensor. There is no gyroscope. Now coming to the front, as I said, you have an 8MP camera, you have a notification LED, proximity and light sensors there too, and you have on-screen buttons this time around along with the Coolpad branding which you see. Now this display looks quite sharp. It's one of the better displays in this price bracket, wide viewing angles, good color reproduction, you can even tweak that. And moreover, you have that 2.5D curved glass on top which really makes touch response brilliant on this device. Now talking about network and call quality, we didn't have any issues. This phone also supports voice over LTE, so no issues there. Call clarity was also very good here. The speakerphone, although a bit tinny, is loud enough for voice calls. Now let's talk about the cameras on the phone. The rear camera is a bit disappointing. It's an 8MP shooter, but the thing is, it doesn't have great color reproduction. It tries to oversaturate everything and there is a lot of noise when you take images in lower light. And I'm not talking about very low light, even in artificial light, it just doesn't take good images. It adds sort of a greenish or bluish hue to images. Now the front-facing camera is actually quite better in that aspect. Now again, coming back to that rear camera, you can see colors look quite oversaturated, greens, reds, everything look blown out. One more thing the camera cannot handle well is exposure, which you can see clearly in this image, especially when you use tap to focus. And moreover, HDR mode also adds sort of a greenish hue to images, so it's utterly unusable. These are some of the things that the company really needs to work on. And you can see a lot of noise is introduced as soon as you move to darker environments. So overall, the front-facing camera is actually a bit better than the rear camera. Which now brings me to audio quality. Now this is the headset that you get within the box. These do sound alright. If you don't have any other pair, these would do the job. Now audio quality through the headset jack isn't really that great. It's just loud and that's all I can say for that. FM radio with recording is supported if you want to use that, but overall audio quality is a bit disappointing here. The loudspeaker again isn't the loudest, it is a bit tinny. Now coming to software, you have Android Marshmallow running on the device. Now this is the new cool UI which is inspired from EUI of Le Echo, and that's because Le Echo now has controlling stake in Coolpad, which means you would have to learn one more user interface. Now you can see here, if you swipe from the bottom, you have access to your quick toggles as well as your brightness slider. That is something new with the new cool UI. It does take getting used to because it's neither similar to EUI nor the previous gen cool UI. Now this is a 16 gig smartphone, out of which you'll get about 10 to 10.5 gigs of storage when you get the device, and USB OTG is supported over here as well. You can expand storage with a micro SD card, and well, there was plenty of RAM free, and this phone doesn't have any issues with multitasking. There are a few screen gestures available too. There's the C button which I really didn't find any use for, but you do have double tap to wake, which I really found quite useful. Then you have granular permission control built in as well. You can choose particular permissions or particular apps to see what all they use. Then you have scroll capture available here too, which is similar to what we have seen with MIUI 8. Now performance in general is actually not that great, but web browsing did work out quite fine. Yes, text and images do take a bit longer to render. The main issue here is if you have many apps open in the background, the phone begins to bog down very quickly. Apps take longer to load, they stutter, animation also becomes laggy, and that's because the MediaTek MT6735P really isn't that powerful. We have already seen similar performance issues with the P1M, which uses the same processor. Even in gaming, we saw that almost every one of the higher end games did lag quite a bit. Asphalt 8 at high settings was very laggy. Even at medium settings, it really didn't play that well. So yes, this phone really doesn't perform that well. But because of that underpowered processor, even with that 2500 mAh battery, you do get through almost an entire day. I was able to get about 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time, but that was the max that I got on this phone. So here's my final take on the Coolpad Mega. This phone actually does feel very good to hold in hand. It looks stylish, it has a good display. The 2.5D curved glass actually makes touch response really feel great on the device, and you do have some oleophobic coating as well. Performance wise, this phone is really average. Apps do stutter, it's definitely not meant for high-end gaming. And then the cameras, especially the rear camera, is quite average. Audio quality is really not that great again. So in this price bracket, there is a better phone from Coolpad also, the Coolpad Note 3 Lite, that actually does a better job in several of these aspects. Moreover, you also have the Redmi 3S, which pretty much trumps this phone in almost every aspect apart from the display. So folks, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you have anything to add, please hit us in the comment section and do subscribe for more such reviews. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.